In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the exact tools that you need to either start a content agency, or if you already have a content agency or social media agency, these are the tools that you are going to need in 2026 to not only compete, but also to get ahead. For those that don't know me, my name is Gary Frayter. I've previously managed social media and content for some of the biggest celebrities on the planet: Mike Tyson, Brendan Schaub, Steven Crowder, Mark Sanchez, and a ton of other celebrities. And now I started my own content agency with my brother, and we built it to over 20 full-time employees. We've got the likes of Russell Brand. We've managed an entire podcast network as well as a fight league, and we've got other influencers and podcasters as well. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. So I'm going to be revealing to you the AI tools and just overall tools that we use to run our content agency that makes things a million times easier. There's going to be no gatekeeping here. Take them and feel free to run with them. First and foremost, we got Frame.io. This is one of the most important tools on the list. This right here is phenomenal for whenever you're sending video content and you want your either team to do internal edits or your client to leave notes and tell you what needs to be fixed. So for example, we have a video, we upload it to Frame.io, and then we send it to our video editor and say, hey, change this misspelling here, add this B-roll here, and we're able to pinpoint the exact moments in which we want that thing changed in the video. That allows you to make reels more dynamic, as well as Frame just also allows you to put things into basically folders, and you're able to have everything on one database. Then when you send that video over, that link over to your client, they're able to leave their notes, and that allows the whole entire process to be much more streamlined than otherwise it would have been if you just like put it into a Google Drive and you're like, hey, leave notes, I don't know, in a Telegram message or on WhatsApp. Frame.io is a must-have for content agencies. The second tool on the list is ClickUp. We use ClickUp for all of our deliverables when it comes to design work. So a social media manager will say, hey, this is the type of design that I need. They'll send examples and they'll put it into ClickUp. Then they'll mark the date, what date this needs to get done, and now our design team will get notified, or at least we'll put that into the team's channel too and say, hey, we just put in a new request on ClickUp, and that allows our design team to not only see what exactly needs to be done, when the due dates are, but it just allows us to keep everything in one place. Because if your work just lives on like Telegram, WhatsApp, even Teams, and like that's where all the requests are handled, it's a major pain in the ass. ClickUp allows you to have one process in one website or just sheet for each client. You can create a tab, and that right there is a beautiful process that actually allows you to create a system and streamline things when it comes to your design work as well as any other type of work. Tool number 3, Google Sheets. Believe it or not, I absolutely love Google Sheets. I know that there's these crazy AI tools that allow you to streamline all these processes, yada, yada, yada. I like Google Sheets, and it makes my life incredibly easy. And our clients are mind blown by our ability to create these systems that allow us to have all the content batched in the Google Sheets so that we can always go back to it and we're able to post it. So for example, internally, we will have a Google Sheet that we actually use to put in requests with our video editor. Then we also have an official tracker or a client-facing tracker that our clients are able to see and approve. And that creates a beautiful system. So we have an internal tracker for our internal team where we put in requests and where our video editors drop the link so that we're able to review it, our social media managers. And then we have an official tracker or a client-facing tracker where we upload the final version for our clients to see and leave notes on, and they leave notes on Frame.io. And we also use Google Sheets for things like making sure that we've got all our invoices completed. We also make sure and track our just monthly expenses as an agency, and I even do it personally for my own personal, how much money I make and things like that. But it just makes things so much easier. And all of our clients have basically their individual Google Sheet that they go to, that they know all the video assets are uploaded to, and that just makes things way easier as far as being on the same page with them, and they could always, repurpose some of that content, as well as it just creates a bank of content that we're able to continue to reuse. The next tool that we have is GoHighLevel, and I absolutely love GoHighLevel for a few reasons. Number one, it allows us to create automations. We use it as a substitute for ManyChat. ManyChat, it is pretty expensive, probably less expensive than GoHighLevel is, but ManyChat only has that one feature really, primarily that you use it for, which is to send out DMs for whenever anybody comments a certain word. But with GoHighLevel, yes, it's probably a little bit more expensive, but it's got all sorts of different features. But anyway, one of them is automations, and it is phenomenal for that. So for all of our clients, we set up multiple automations, and there's really no limit. It doesn't cost us more or less depending on how many automations that it ultimately sends to people's DMs. One example of this is for our Fight clients. Whenever somebody comments the word tickets, we created an automation that it sends them the ticket link to our next event. That right there just allows us to actually show the client that, hey, we funneled this many people from social media and they actually purchased and we were able to take them through our funnel. So that's the first thing that GoHighLevel does. The next thing that we use GoHighLevel for is scheduling out posts. Instead of doing it natively on Instagram, we're able to have everybody be on the same page, and you can I can log in at any time to GoHighLevel and I could see what's going on for all of our clients and what's actually going to get out on which platform. And that just makes everybody not only be on the same page, but it allows us to adjust month to month, where I can say, okay, let's get more posts out. We underperformed this month, or, you know, we had really good results. Let's keep doing exactly what we did previously. And you can look at analytics there. And I can honestly say that GoHighLevel has been a really big game changer for the team. And the last thing that we use GHL for is actually to create landing pages. So whenever we're running, let's say, ebook or a VSL funnel, any of that kind of stuff for some of our influencer clients or business owner clients that actually want to sell a product or service, especially if it's high ticket, we can create landing pages, and we do make that so easy through GoHighLevel. It's an awesome platform. And then if we run ads to it, we're able to actually track and install a pixel on Meta to actually see how many people we funneled and actually took action. So GoHighLevel is honestly remarkable in that sense. The next tool that we use is going to be Claude or ChatGPT. Lately, I've been using a lot of Claude specifically for YouTube titling and thumbnailing ideas, as well as deciding on what angle of the video is the most interesting to title around and thumbnail around. For example, right now we manage social media for a big political commentator, Massive, and we take his video transcripts and then we plug it into Claude, and it gives us the best angles to actually use for titling and thumbnailing. So that's been really phenomenal as far as that. And it also helps us with long form and short form content ideas. The next tool that I absolutely love, and I don't think that we can function without, is called Freepik. And Freepik just moved over to, it's got a new name now, but basically we absolutely love it for AI generation. So it's a lot better than like a ChatGPT is. It allows us to create much more dynamic YouTube thumbnails, as well as just social graphics overall. So Freepik is something incredible where you can upload a very pixelated image, let's say, and you could significantly enhance it to the point where the image is actually really usable and looks incredible. So Freepik for your design team is a must. The next tool that I absolutely need to tell you about is one that primarily works with YouTube. So if you've got any YouTubers that you manage or just YouTube channels overall, this tool is for you and it's well worth the money. It's either vidIQ or ViewStats. So either one of those tools. I have less experience with vidIQ, but I can tell you about ViewStat. ViewStat is a tool that Mr. Beast created that specifically helps with competitor analysis and figuring out what videos perform well in your niche. You can look up outliers. That's one of the things the tool is known for. You can find out what videos performed exceptionally well in your niche or, you know, in your genre. And then you could see, okay, what did they use for the thumbnail? What did they use for the title? And now you can take that same exact concept and make it your own. And that way, that video is almost guaranteed to perform well. And you just took that idea, took that concept, and now you made it your own for your client or for your own YouTube channel. So that's a phenomenal tool. And honestly, this tool is going to have a lot more in store moving forward in the next few years. It's relatively new. It's only about 1.5 to 2 years old, if I'm not mistaken. But the amount that it actually helps you get ahead is really incredible, considering you can look at all of your competitors and figure out what are they doing right, what are they doing wrong, and how can I implement what they're doing right for my own channel to grow much faster. And then the next tools that I got to tell you about that I'm going to bundle up are going to be After Effects, Photoshop, and Adobe Premiere Pro. So those are the 3 tools that your team absolutely needs to know. If you're hiring video editors, they got to know After Effects and they have to know Adobe Premiere Pro. And if you're hiring designers, they can't be specializing in Canva. They have to have Photoshop experience and be very well versed in that. And now it's not enough just for a designer to be good at Photoshop. They also have to be implementing AI. So those are the tools. The next tool that we use is Instagram Edits. Instagram actually rewards you using the Edits tool compared to if you were using CapCut. CapCut is owned by ByteDance, which is also owned by TikTok, and they don't want you using their competitor tools. So instead, if you have minor edits or if you're doing any reposting, managing a fan page, anything like that, if you need to stitch something together or you run a fan page, make sure you're using Instagram Edits because the Instagram algorithm actually rewards you using that tool. So the last tool that I have to let you know about is Teams. Teams is what we use internally. Maybe you can use Slack. I know that that's great. It might actually even be better than Teams. For whatever reason, Teams is what we landed on, and that's kind of just stuck with us. Externally, whenever we're working with clients, we either use WhatsApp, Telegram, or email. If you run a content agency and have any questions, feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm going to be dropping a lot of content as far as entrepreneurship and then what it takes to actually run a content agency. I don't actually see too many people giving the sauce that are actually in the trenches now of what it takes to run a successful content agency or social media agency. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.